The Cannabis Show is for information only. You should always consult with a qualified and licensed physician or other medical care provider.
We all know that CBD is lauded as the medical miracle cannabinoid, and that's not wrong. CBD is great and certainly helps many people, but I've been hearing a lot of negativity about the other popular cannabinoid, THC. Lately, I'm hearing a lot of people downplaying the medicinal effects of THC because it gets you high. Look, just because THC is psychoactive doesn't mean it does not have medicinal benefits. THC has been known to work as an analgesic, help combat nausea, protect brain cells, help with sleep, as well as increase people's appetites. Try and tell one of our country's veterans that she should only be using CBD to treat her PTSD and see what kind of reception you get. THC is also necessary in small amounts to aid in the entourage effect, that idea that all parts of the plant work better together. Now, I've talked to a lot of people out there who tell me they won't use THC because it gets you high. But as soon as I ask, have you ever used THC? The answer is almost inevitably no. So let's talk about what being high actually means. First of all, let's get one thing crystal clear. Being high is not being drunk. In fact, it's the opposite of being drunk. If I was going to describe the effects of THC, I'd liken it to a release, kind of like getting into a warm bath. It's not scary, it's quite pleasant. It's like when that first sip of coffee hits your body after you swallow it, that feeling. You're in control of yourself, and you may even find that you're more energetic and have even more creativity. Heck, you may even get a really great nap. Just make sure you're not at work. Plus, there's a bonus to THC. There's even an antidote. If you've had too much THC, simply chew on a few peppercorns and relax in a quiet room. I can almost guarantee you that you will be absolutely fine. I guess there's an antidote to alcohol, too, if you overdose. If you want to call vomiting an antidote. So the next time someone poo-poos THC, tell them there's a lot of benefits to that cannabinoid that seems to be the ugly duckling.
Hi, I'm Bud High, the cannabis science guy. What is decarboxylation? Well, in layman's terms, decarboxylation is the process of heating up cannabis to activate the THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids within it. Simply put, without heat, these compounds have a tougher time passing through the blood-brain barrier. This is why cannabis is smoked, vaporized, or cooked before it enters the body. The science behind decarboxylation is a chemical reaction where the COOH carboxyl groups of atoms are removed from the cannabis, exiting in the form of H2O and CO2. That's water and carbon dioxide for you lay people. As cannabis and any other plant grows, it goes through a process known as photosynthesis. During this process, CO2 is absorbed, where it is then combined with hydrogen and the plant to create a carboxylic acid. This is known as carboxylation. The main carboxylic acid of interest to us are the THC-A and CBD-A, and these are the precursors to the THC and CBD. When cannabis is in its raw form, it contains THC-A and CBD-A. This is why raw cannabis does not have the same effect as heated or decarboxylated cannabis. When heat is added by smoking, vaporizing, or cooking, the CO2 is removed from that acid, and that turns them into those highly prized cannabinoids like THC and CBD. If you are going to do it at home, generally speaking, you want to decarboxylate your cannabis at around 106 to 120 degrees Celsius for between 30 minutes to an hour. By then, it's ready to use in baked goods or any food product. Decarboxylation. Now you know.
Looking for a tasty way to put some extra health benefit into your dose of oil? This recipe caught my eye. Tilray's Avocado Zinger. Yum. So what you'll need is 1 ripe avocado, 1 small ripe banana, 1.5 cups coconut water, 1.5 teaspoons lime juice, so you put the lime in the coconut, 1 teaspoon grated ginger, 1 teaspoon chopped basil, just not our basil, 1 cup of ice, agave syrup to taste, and your regular dose of cannabis oil. I personally like to add my oil after I've poured the shake into my glass, then give it a good stir. Depending on your metabolism, your shake's effect will peak in about an hour or two, and like any edible, it will last for about 4 to 6 hours.
Hello and welcome to Growing Tips. My name's Evan, and today I'm joined by Basil and Kate. Today we're going to learn how to trim your cannabis plants. There's a few things you'll need. Most importantly, a set of scissors and something to trim into. Popular is a clean seedling tray, works great, but the professionals will use a screen to catch those extra trichomes that fall off as we're handling the plants.
Is that like a silk screen thing?
This one is a silk screen, but you can get specific trimming trays to do this in, but this works great.
Yeah.
So I think we'll dig in. Cool. We'll start by cutting off a branch here. Pretty simple. Everybody's got theirs. Now the first step is to take off the fan leaves. These are the larger leaves that don't have a lot of trichomes. They can be really good for juicing or other uses, but they don't have a lot of THC.
Do you try and get as close as you can to the stem?
Definitely. Reaching in underneath the bud and finding the lowest point towards the stem is the best bet. Just like that.
And for juicing, you can take, they're raw, right? When you juice them?
You mentioned just like that. Some people freeze them beforehand.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
But you can take them as is and put them straight into the juicer. After you get off the majority of the fan leaves, the next step is to take off the sugar leaves. These are the smaller leaves covered in trichomes that are sticking out from the bud. The best way to do that is just to hold your scissors up close to the bud and just snip just like that. Now, these sugar leaves, these smaller leaves that do have trichomes on them, are great for making edibles or for making hash with. So you do want to make sure that you're saving these. And after we take off the majority of these.
Do we know how much THC they have in it compared to the bud, or what the bud would have, the flower?
To be 100% sure, you would definitely have to get it tested, but you're going to have significantly more in the bud itself, and then less in the sugar leaves, and then significantly less in the fan leaves. Now that we've got the majority of those sugar leaves off, the bud is pretty much ready to dry. In drier climates, growers will leave the bud on the stem to let it dry slower as it pulls that moisture from the stem. In more moist climates, you can remove the bud from the stem and dry it on a drying rack, like we talked in our last episode. This will let the bud dry a little bit quicker in those more moist environments. How are those guys coming along, guys?
A little slow compared to you. These are sticky.
Thanks. Definitely is a little bit of work. Looking pretty good, though.
I'd rather do this than knit. I can tell you that right now.
Definitely. I think we should have our
All right.
audience vote who is the best trimmer.
Uh-oh.
Leave your comments in the comment section
I
below
was focusing while you were talking.
on who you think did the best job, and keep growing.